I don't know that the very low rise jeans need to be revisited.
It's definitely back, and it's at your own risk.
Is it really back? Come on, Vogue.
We have two amazing guests. Judith Touitou is the artistic director of the iconic French brand A.P.C. Katie Holmes needs little introduction. You know her from many incredible projects, most recently Rare Objects, a film she directed, produced, and acted in last year. And of course, we all fell in love with her on Dawson's Creek. They are joining me today in the Vogue closet, and we're so excited to hear about this collection. And Katie was just telling Judith about how she wished she brought her kitten, which I was curious about.
My kitten loves fashion.
What does that mean?
She loves a garment bag. She loves hopping in a garment bag.
Does she like get in shoes?
Yeah, sometimes.
My
like
dog
she'll
is
hide
like,
in a little boot or something.
My dog has very good taste with shoes. He only eats my nicest shoes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Attention.
You two collaborated on A.P.C's latest collection. It's a capsule collection, and I'm curious how that came to be, because to me, A.P.C is such an iconic French brand, and Katie, to me, you're such an iconic American woman. Where did that marriage happen? How did you two meet?
We met in New York, and I've been going to the A.P.C store on West 4th and on Mercer Street for many years, and I was first introduced to A.P.C on a film set, Touch with Fire.
Okay.
And the wardrobe designer, the costumes were limiting because it was mostly like T-shirts and jeans, and
Okay.
because of the circumstances of the characters. And she taught me how important those details are, because when you're kind of limited in that way, how do you reveal something about the characters just through the little details? Anyway, so that kind of transcended into me just going to A.P.C very often, and
What was the first thing you ever purchased at the store?
jeans.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I remember, was it Vanessa Bruno that
Vanessa Seward, maybe?
See, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Who did the collab?
Yeah.
And then how did the collaboration, the idea to design something together come about?
In my office, I kept receiving those press clips where we saw, street style pictures from Katie, very often wearing A.P.C, and we found her so stylish. Sometimes we sit down and we're like, oh, who should we collaborate with? Who would be fun to work with? And I was like, in America, there's this one girl, she has such great style. And I think she knows who we are because she's wearing our stuff.
Wow.
So I reached out to Katie in the beginning as in a blind date, I think. Like, hi, Katie, I'm Judith. Would you like to do something together? So then I think the next step was she was coming to Paris, and Jhamb brought her to our archive. We have huge archive.
Where do you keep it?
It's under our store that is in Rue Royale, so really very central. And it's a huge space with 1,000 of, I don't know,
It's a
everything.
dream. It's
Tell
a
me,
dream.
what was it like?
Because I love A.P.C so much, I felt kind of starstruck. Like, oh my God, I'm seeing this piece from this time.
Oh, that's so funny.
It was just beautiful. And it was A.P.C pieces and also some other brands that were inspirational pieces. Everything was so cool, which is A.P.C. So
Yes,
it just
it's
made
true.
sense. And so I absolutely loved it. So I was just taking lots of pictures. And what I really value so much about working with A.P.C is the safety and the freedom that they offer, and just like you feel so good the whole energy of our collaboration was whatever you feel. Like, let's just start there. And so there wasn't any pressure at all. And I feel like it's taught me such a great lesson in creating and creating with others. And
Was it the first time you'd done a fashion collaboration, or you'd done that something in the past?
I've worked in fashion,
Yeah.
but I've never come into someone else's space.
Okay.
And that can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
And you made me feel like all of my ideas were worth investigating. And I think like that's wonderful. Like
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
every phone call I'd be like, yeah. Great, I think I'm gonna get another call.
Did you do it over Zoom? Was it all over calls or WhatsApp, or how were you guys communicating?
We did a few Zooms.
Yeah,
we
Zoom.
did a lot of FedEx exchanges. It was really nice, I think, too, that archive was the beginning, the starting point of the collab. And every time we do what we call interaction, just to enhance the fact that it's like a ping pong of ideas, it's an exchange. It's quite challenging because we ask someone, okay, if you were to do your favorite wardrobe in, let's say, 20 pieces, what would that be? It might sound like a simple question, but in fact, it's not. So it's a lot of dialogue. And I think Katie really impressed me because her choices was always very clear. And she had like this very smart and thoughtful idea of what a woman today should wear to feel confident and beautiful, but being herself all the time.
Katie, what are 2 favorite pieces from the collection for you?
I love the quilt because
Oh yes, I want to talk about that.
yes. I like our color scheme. I was looking at a lot of Agnes Varda movies, and one of my favorite movies is One Sings and the Other Doesn't, and I feel like the color palette in that film is so vibrant, and I also just love that film. And so the oranges and the pinks and the reds, they just are powerful for women to wear. And so I feel really proud of our colors. And it's, it's more than just this time of year. It's just, those colors are good.
I want to hear about the quilt because I loved, in the lookbook, you're wearing it as a strapless dress, and it reminded me of A$AP Rocky's quilt that he wore to the Met Gala in 2021. I mean, I think quilts there's always a big quilt moment. But
He'll probably be calling.
Yes, here it is.
Where did the idea to have a quilt come from? It's inspired by one that your mom made, right?
Well, you can start with your...
Yeah, I mean, at A.P.C, it's been, I think, more than 10 years that we upcycle the leftover of our production. So there's always fabrics that are not... we order too much fabrics all the time. We collaborate with this incredible family factory in India where they hand quilt. So we have a longtime friend, Jessica Ogden, who designed quilts from our leftover fabrics. And this program has a lot of success because I think quilts are very emotional.
Yeah.
So when Katie saw the quilts, she asked me, "Oh, could we have one of my mom quilts in the collection?" And I was, of course, because it happens to be something we know how to do, and we have great makers. She sent me a few pieces from her mom. I picked my favorite, and we tried to reproduce it with fabrics, and that's it.
Yeah. Is your mom still quilting?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one quilt that you had in mind, or is this a constant stream of quilts that she's making?
She makes a lot of quilts.
Okay.
And I think she had just sent me a few, and that's when I got the idea. It was more timing.
Okay.
But she's done all different kinds, everything from, quilts that has all different kinds of shoes on it.
Oh, really?
And like holiday ones, and beautiful. Okay. Well, I like the design of this quilt. I like all of the different circles. And I like this fabric a lot. It's Liberty.
It's Liberty, yeah.
I love this blue. And I remember when I was working in London, I would go to the Liberty store.
Oh my God.
all the time. It's so wonderful.
Oh, it's
wonderful.
Judith, your husband Jean started A.P.C in 1987, so a long time ago now.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it's become this sort of classic of a chic French woman who's on the go, who's, to me now, I have 2 young kids, and I have my A.P.C crossbody bag. That's what I have every weekend. That's what I'm sort of carrying with me all the time. And I'm wondering, like, are there trends that you pay attention to that are coming and going as you're designing, or is it very much just, this is the classic chic French woman's staples that they need to get through their day in a way that makes them feel good and look good?
It's more like we try to propose a wardrobe. Walking in the streets, you're always influenced by trends. So, yes, there will always be a trench coat because it's not possible for any woman to not have a trench coat, for instance. But nowadays, I think we would wear them longer than before. And maybe after the big oversized moment, we're gonna go back through to a little bit more fitted. But it's more like, yes, always reinterpreting. I hate the word basics, but I would say the essentials for a woman's life or a man's life. And to go back to Katie, I think that's where she was really, really clever, because in my opinion, her collection, you could just have that for every time of your day, for any circumstance, because like you can play with, there's this white t-shirt who can be worn with jeans, so it's super laid back, with flats. But in the same collections, you have platform shoes that, and if you wear that same white t-shirt but underneath the black suit, then it becomes super chic.
Yeah.
So I guess our brand is more about how to style it, which I hope, in my opinion, there's no recipe. It's we've always thought of our clothes in a way like people should just wear them the way they want. You know, like you can do anything with it.
Katie, do you have any of the original pieces you got from A.P.C, like 90s items that you're still mixing into your wardrobe today?
I have a great like chocolate brown leather jacket that's, I guess, a trench. Yeah.
Oh. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And I have a lot of the repurposed jeans.
Okay. We're in a moment right now where 90s style is resurfacing a lot, even early aught style. Are there any trends from the 90s that you definitely don't want to see come back?
Deleted. They've all been deleted, like bad sell. But we looked at the late 90s, early 2000s with, the camisoles and the scarves and the mini skirts. So there's an influence of that.
You did design a lot of accessories for this collection, which I was excited to see. Like, the bag does feel quite retro to me. Were there influences you had when you were looking at the accessories particularly?
What I love about the bags at A.P.C in general is the size. I feel like the smaller the bag, the more organized I feel, and I'm not recipient of everyone else's stuff because I can't fit it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it finishes an outfit. And I wanted a bag that was chic but understated, and one that kind of goes with everything. Yeah. So that I'm not a person that likes to change my bag all the time. I don't really have a lot of time for that. But we also have a bag that's quilted to kind of go along with the theme of the quilt.
Oh, there's a quilted bag? Oh, how fabulous. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Did you design any nose rings for this collection?
No.
Okay.
I don't think nose rings are really interchangeable.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. So will you tell us about getting your nose pierced a couple years ago?
It's not really a story.
Okay, all right.
It's just...
I feel like people love it. The Vogue.com audience loves anything that you are wearing. And so they're very interested in...
nice.
From your nose, but also your shoes. They're obsessed with anything with like your shoes people want to click on. How do you decide, like, what's your shoe approach as we sit with hundreds of shoes behind us?
Oh.
I often find that I plan an outfit starting with a shoe just because it makes it easier for me to sort of think up. But how does the shoe fit into your dressing?
I think since the pandemic, I'm less likely to center an outfit around a heel. Yeah. Also, just living in a city, and I like to walk everywhere. So that makes me go towards flats and sneakers. So for me, shoes, I just like to keep it simple. In working on this collection, it was like, to me, I wanted to really honor A.P.C, the quintessential French platform or wedge. And because I feel like that is comfortable, and to me, it's like a high flat. I feel like dressing like a French woman is so aspirational, and so it allows you to literally step into another role and into that fantasy of being in Paris. I think I share that dream with a lot of American women.
I think you do.
So I wanted to put that in the story, and then I saw these in the archive.
Okay.
And I just loved them.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
I had a crush.
I had a crush on these shoes.
So that was the easiest part, to just reproduce a shoe from 20 years ago.
Katie, as we've just said, you're photographed a lot on the street in your street style, and people love it. Does it change the way you get dressed if you're out just running out for an errand? Do you think, oh, I wore that yesterday, someone's going to see that again?
No, I try to not look bad.
And if I may say, it's the thing, getting to know Katie a little bit more than in the beginning. You have a self-confidence that makes you so stylish, I think. I guess that's the best recipe to look good.
We always talk about, and I understand if you are sick of talking about this, but the moment when in 2019 you hailed a cab in the Kate bralette and it sold out hundreds of times and people were just obsessed with that. Is there ever a moment like that where you're like, oh, I didn't realize that would sort of live in infamy like that? Have you reworn it, or does that feel like then that has to be archived because it had such a major moment?
No, I gave it to a friend.
Okay.
I was like, I'm not going to wear this again. I can't.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so weird. So I was like, it never really fit me that well anyway. So
will you be wearing the A.P.C quilt on the streets of New York?
absolutely.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I'm excited
definitely.
about that.
I think a little wrapped with like maybe a cowboy boot.
Oh, I love that.
Perfect.
Subtle. Just very subtle and,
Very minimal.
minimal. Minimal. I'm not quite sure where I would go in it, but I'm sure maybe a coffee.
For a picnic.
A picnic.
Judith, what's a dream day in New York City or in Paris for each of you as visitors to the other one?
You mean a dream day together?
Well, what's your dream day in New York?
Well, that was yesterday, I guess. Yesterday was a dream day. We had a walk through our collection with the New York press. So I have a lot of people I love here that came and say hi. I don't know, it was such a beautiful day in New York yesterday. Everybody was out and in this like crazy style, which for us, I mean, you're talking about French style as something really nice, and I concur. But also for me, coming to New York and seeing all those people in different styles and quite eccentric, it's really a highlight.
What's the craziest outfit you saw
eccentric,
yesterday?
Yeah.
All those guys with very feminine stuff. I love it. I really do. I feel like there's a new moment for femininity for everyone. It's very soothing as a woman to see that.
Katie, what's your dream Paris day when you're visiting Paris? And do you dress differently in Paris? Okay.
I bought this when I was in Paris a couple years ago, this skirt.
Okay.
Because I wanted...
Is it A.P.C?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to look Parisian. My perfect day in Paris?
Yeah.
I've had some funny moments in Paris. In one moment, I went from feeling at the top of the world to really not. And it had to do with the metro because it was, when you figure it out. And the first time I did it, I didn't know how those things work.
Yeah.
We laughed so hard because I was like, you're kind of afraid because you're like, oh my God, what if it gets me?
They have a different turnstile at the French metro.
Exactly.
And
And it was only when somebody behind actually stuck the ticket all the way in because I kept going in and out anyway. And then I was like, oh, okay. But we made it to like the first stop and I was like, okay, cool. Got this. We're on the next one and then it just doesn't go to the next stop. And I was like, uh-oh, I don't know what the announcement was and whatever. We figured it out, but it's so funny, or it's not funny. It's so interesting when you're in a city where you don't know the language.
yeah.
My best day in Paris would be, we had a great time doing the photo shoot. And it was the first time I did a photo shoot in Paris.
Oh,
and
really?
we were outside and outside the store. Everyone was so proud and it was a celebration of, we've been working on this for like a year and a half or so.
wow.
So having it all come together. And also it was very easy. It was very smooth. And that makes such a difference. And that's been the whole process. It's like very smooth.
Lovely. And how are you learning French? You said you're trying.
I tried classes during the pandemic and I got it was too much.
I must say it's not the easiest language to learn. But already, if you watch our French movies,
there you go.
Yeah.
It's a start.
It's a start.
So we do have this phenomenon in the U.S. where people are obsessed with French girl style. And Katie was talking about that a little bit. And I'm just curious, Judith, what does French girl style mean to you? A French woman style that makes it so aspirational to so many women?
If I'm being really honest, my deep thought about that is like trying not to do too much. So you start piling up clothes and then getting to the essential. I think we value simplicity. So there's no recipe for that, unfortunately.
Katie, how would you describe French style? And is there ever a time where you're thinking about it? For example, when you said when you're in Paris?
Yeah, I feel like to add to what you're saying, it's that simplicity, but because it embodies the way of living. You know, when you go to Paris, it feels more deliberate. And sometimes I feel there's so much stuff all the time here. And so I think it's intentional and it's deliberate and it's power. And I think it's the confidence of being simple and trusting what you're wearing is enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to put everything on. You don't have to follow some sort of trend. It's just easier. And I never feel like when I look at a French woman that she has 30 of the same sweaters or 20, you know, it feels she has a specific closet and
deliberate.
That's it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have that.
Yeah,
it's amazing, but she would probably have one great pair of black pumps.
Yeah, I think we are lucky. We live in a country where we have a heritage for a really great French intellectual like Simone de Beauvoir or Marguerite Duras, who really worked on the empowerment of women.
Yeah.
And I think even if it's not conscious, growing up in this country, reading those books that are mandatory at school, they make us believe in our power. And so this means you don't have to use too many tools to just be yourself.
And Katie, you were saying that your perfect day in Paris was the day you spent shooting the lookbook, but are there any parks you like to go to when you visit, or a restaurant you always love, or a crepe, I don't know, getting a crepe at a crepe stand?
I really love the Gardens of Versailles. I think what is wonderful is because you can walk everywhere. I really like wandering and coming upon things. The last time I was there, I found a beautiful chocolate store, and it's been around for so long. And
what is it?
I forget the name of it. Okay. It's right by the Picasso Museum.
Okay.
But just the smells and just the sensuality that exists in Paris. You feel like you're in Swans in Love. It's wonderful. It's the mood.
Yes.
It's not necessarily when I go to Paris, so I have to go there, I have to go there. It's a mood. It's just, wow, I'm here. And then to walk the streets where Marguerite Duras walked and you know, like these wonderful female writers. It's that's also very empowering and inspiring.
Yeah. Judith, there was a great quote that Jhamb said a few years ago about describing sensuality doesn't have to be about, you know, a garter belt, that a little sock being exposed can be just as evocative. How would you describe the sensuality of A.P.C and also of the way French people dress and put themselves together in the morning?
Well, to me, that sensuality is just when you achieve being super authentic about who you are. So it's choosing the clothes that fits you best or reflect the most easily your personality, because if you're gonna seduce someone, it's gonna be through who you are, not what you wear. The A.P.C clothes are made for making you look good.
Yeah.
But whatever that would be, it would be a dress or it can be a t-shirt. Like for me, the best item from our collaboration with Katie is her white tee. I think in this t-shirt, you look like just fabulous because of the proportion of the sleeve, because of the fabrics that is a little bit thicker. For me, there's nothing as sexy as a white tee. But it's just because with a white tee, you can express yourself truly. There's nothing that's more attractive than being honest. And I feel that Katie has that incredible quality, and I think that's why people admire her style so much. It's because she's always herself.
And will you describe the collection, just a couple of pieces that you feel like really embody the collection? Or Katie, what's one piece, if you, for listeners who can't see it, what's one piece that you would want to describe to them?
Well, I love jeans. That is, I do have a collection of jeans.
How many jeans do you have?
I don't know, but I have a lot of A.P.C jeans.
Okay.
Because not only do I feel cool, they fit really well. When we were talking about making jeans, well, this whole collection has a more 70s vibe. And so it was like the high-waisted, wide leg. For a couple of reasons. It goes with that kind of era, but it also is very flattering and I think fun for the summer. I love a high-waisted jean with a tank top. It's just easy, natural. I think that is the thing. A.P.C is natural. You get to be a girl. You get to be a woman. You get to be all different parts of yourself all at the same time. And you're not hidden by the clothes. The clothes just support who you are. And so I feel like this collection is a nod to another era, but it's also very present right now. And I love our shirts that are, what would you call that have the scoop neck and...
A peasant blouse?
Peasant blouse. A peasant blouse. I just think we worked on the length so it doesn't ride up when you're picking up a child or picking up your purse or whatever. Peasant blouses always make me think someone, it's very artistic, it's creative, and very French, and also very sexy because it's easy and it's natural. You added the pearl buttons, and
that's pretty.
That detail is why a French woman is sexy. And if a man doesn't know about that button, next.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's taste.
Well, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
And that's it for the Run-Through with Vogue. Bye. Au revoir.